Here are some of my top opinions on print on demand that might be highly controversial based on what you've heard before. I've been selling print on demand on Etsy for over 2 years now, and I've sold over $500,000 worth of products in revenue. And there are many things that I've heard online, on YouTube, on forums that I tried on my store that just did not work out. And now over these 2 years, I have compiled my list of my controversial opinions that have proved to work for me that go against everything that you've heard. And the first one is, do not chase holidays and trends. Instead, I have found all of my success chasing evergreen niches. Evergreen niches are like careers, pets, hobbies, things that are not going to die down after a certain date. I do this so that my listings have a chance to sell all year round. If you have just holidays in your store, every time a holiday passes, your sales are going to go back to zero because that holiday is done. There's no more buyers for it. Versus with evergreen products, those can sell all year round. Say for Christmas, for example, when you're shopping for Christmas, are you buying hundreds of different Christmas sweatshirts or are you buying gifts for people? And when you're buying gifts for people, are they Christmas themed? Hope not. Usually they are more evergreen. So that means actually your evergreen niches are going to sell more for Christmas. And as a new seller, chasing holidays is going to be extremely hard because every single Etsy store, every single successful Etsy store is already going for these niches. So you are competing against every other store versus if you start by finding some unsaturated evergreen niches, you have a way better chance of being found. I wholeheartedly believe that the success of my store was because I just did evergreen niches. Because during the Christmas season, I got hundreds and hundreds of sales for my evergreen niches. So with sales behind them, they started ranking higher in the search. So come January, because these were evergreen, they still had a chance to sell because they are no longer out of the holiday season. For example, Christmas sweatshirts would not be selling in January, no matter how high. If they're ranking on page 1 on Etsy, if people are not buying in January, it's not going to sell. Versus evergreen niches can still sell in January, and you have climbed the ranks to page 1 or 5 or wherever you are based on your Christmas sales. My second controversial opinion is I don't niche down, especially as a new seller. The only full thing that you need to decide on when you're first starting is product. So let's say you decide you are doing sweatshirts. You are going to master sweatshirts, buy the best mock-ups, learn how to do sweatshirt SEO, and really make those perfect. If you are trying tons of different products, it's really hard to try to get your listing photos all beautiful. You are just spreading yourself too thin. But with niches in print on demand, it's extremely easy to test a bunch of niches. You need something to tie your store together. So this is product. So by having a general t-shirt or sweatshirt store, people know what you specialize in. But now we don't know what niche we want to do yet. So we're going to do our research. I have tons of videos on how I do Etsy research, but also by putting up a bunch of niches, we are also testing to see what works for us. I am huge on creating one design that can be applied to multiple different niches, say like an eat, sleep, save lives, repeat. Eat, sleep, walk dogs, repeat, etc. And putting those on a bunch of different t-shirts. And then I'll see which niches are getting me views and sales. And then from there, I know which niches I want to focus on moving forward. If you niche down too early in product and in niche, and that niche doesn't turn out to be too profitable, there's not too many people shopping for it, then you are just out of luck. By doing a bunch of different niche testing, you can see what works and then go with the flow from there. Many people have said you need to niche down, but I have had a lot of success. There are so many successful print-on-demand shops out there that have tons of different niches within them. My third controversial opinion is I don't spend money on ads. I have done many tests trying to test out my ad spend, and they are just never profitable for me. And especially for you as a brand new seller, you can't be putting your money towards ads if you are not getting sales organically yet. You need to first master your listings, your designs, your photos, and your SEO. Because if those aren't nailed down first, if you are putting money towards them, you are just throwing money out the window. Instead, focus on how you're gonna get found on Etsy organically first. Once you've nailed that down, then you can try testing ads. Personally though, spending money on ads has not been profitable for me. Only during Christmas, like really at the peak of Christmas, when I start maybe breaking even on ad spend, and then I might be running some ads just to get my sales up, but I'm not expecting much of a profit. This can very much vary based on what you sell, so you can test running ads. What I am saying is, as a brand new seller that is just starting on Etsy, you should not be throwing money at listings that you don't know if they are good yet. Wait until you have the proof of sales before you start putting money towards things, because again, if they're never gonna sell organically, they're never gonna sell with ads. My fourth controversial opinion is I don't over-research my keywords. There are a bunch of apps out there that people use to research every single keyword that they're planning to use in their title and their tags. I do not do that. Instead, what I'm focusing on is first finding unsaturated niches to design in, and then with my keywords and tags, I am finding relevant tags that people may search in the search bar. If a keyword has high search volume, low competition, but the thing you designed is not relevant, there's no point in using it. Sure, you might rank page 1, but if someone searches that and your listing comes up on page 1 and it's not what they wanted, they're gonna skip by it. The more they skip by it, the more they're telling Etsy that you are not relevant and you are just going to sink in the rankings. So what is my super quick way to doing Etsy research? Again, the only research I do is finding the unsaturated niches. And I have, again, many videos on that. Go take a look if you are not sure exactly how to find your unsaturated niches. And then from there, I will actually look up my main keyword on Etsy and use the keywords that people on page 1 are using. So in summary, you do not need to research every keyword and tag in every single listing. That is going to take you so much time. Instead, really think about what people are going to type into the Etsy search bar that is relevant to your listing. It's not relevant, it doesn't matter anyway. If you have a cat shirt, your keywords should be cat shirt, cat mom shirt, gift for cat mom, etc. Things people are likely to search. My next shocker is I do not over design. Sometimes I spend 2 minutes on a design. My best-selling designs are text-based designs with 0 icons or elements in them, and they are only black if it's on a white shirt or white if it's on a black t-shirt. The minute you start adding elements, colors, gradients, you run the risk of your shirt looking a little bit tacky unless you already have an eye for design. But if you are not a designer in nature and you've never sold shirts before, start with text-based designs. And guess what? They work, and they work very well as long as you have the right fonts for your shirt. And quick tip, if you can't find any fonts that you like, check out Creative Fabrica Fonts. This is where I've grabbed pretty much all of my best-selling fonts that I use on my t-shirts and sweatshirts. And my last very controversial opinion, and don't get mad at me until you finish listening to this one, is actually quantity over quality. And I don't mean fully skip on quality. It is important, but what I'm doing is maximizing on quality by creating maybe a few good designs and then again applying them to a bunch of different niches. So with one good design, I can get out 10 different listings. And again, because my listings are pretty much text-based designs, really there is not that much time I'm spending going into designing. Stores out there that are the top sellers have about 6,000 designs. I have about 1,200 right now, but I was making a $100,000 profit a year back when I had about 800 listings. I started getting daily sales when I was at 400 listings. So if you are not there yet, do not freak out. It does take quantity to make this something that is going to bring you money every single day. Quality is still very important. That is why we are only using 1 or 2 products and we are nailing those product photos down, because then we have quality, but we are maximizing our time. We are creating a few quality designs, but creating a bunch of listings. So maximize on your quality instead of learning a whole bunch of new different things. This is what has worked for me as a top 1% seller, where I can get 10 sales a day, all the way up to 100+ sales a day, depending on the season. And almost every single one of these points has been debated with me, but this is what has worked for me, and I've tried the opposites and they have not yielded results. So if you are trying some of these and they are not working for you, try some of my controversial opinions.